Central banks were designed to control prices. Central banks were designed to control prices, and the Federal Reserve's main purpose is to give the illusion that it controls prices. On March 20, 2024, the Federal Reserve decided not to change the rate of interest they're charging to transact in the US dollar. The US dollar is currently the most widely popular fiat currency in the world, and this popularity grants the owners of the US dollar preferential pricing in certain jurisdictions around the world. The foreign exchange markets, more commonly known as the forex markets, symbolize the popularity of the US dollar. The global purchasing power of the US dollar differs greatly from the domestic purchasing power of the US dollar. The reason for this price discrepancy, in an era of evolving digitalization of private fiat money, revolves around the redistributionists in the US government who want to control prices. The Federal Reserve Bank of the United States is at liberty to lower or raise interest rates whenever it wants to. However, the problem with 0% interest rate policies, commonly known as ZIRP, is that they artificially enrich asset holders who own cash-producing assets. People who are the beneficiaries of price controls often ignore how powerful the uber-wealthy are getting because of 0% interest rate policies. The fourth estate is owned by special interest groups. The mainstream media is owned by special interest groups. This parasitic arrangement is fueling censorship and the brainwashing of the public, as the trillions of dollars these uber-wealthy special interest groups have access to can now literally purchase and influence every segment of the U.S. economy. The world has adopted a monetary system governed by fiat. Currently, the U.S. dollar is not only the world's reserve currency, but also the most in-demand currency. Individuals and entities with access to trillions of U.S. dollars who operate outside the United States are now able to dictate U.S. fiscal policy efficiently from a distance. If U.S. politicians appear to be serving foreign special interests, it shouldn't take a genius to figure out why. The Federal Reserve is not your traditional central bank. Unlike most countries that have capital controls, the U.S. allows foreign nations to transact in U.S. dollars. Some foreign nations even use U.S. dollars as their legal tender. If you accept the reality that the U.S. dollar is the world reserve currency, you must also accept the reality that fiscal policy is fueling poverty. Fiscal policy is how the government collects and spends money. In order to control prices, governments use a plethora of price controls to redistribute capital to areas of the economy that they deem worthy. This tyrannical redistributionist model that the world has embraced has put the Federal Reserve in a tough spot. Central bank interest rates are price controls. Taxes are price controls, minimum wages are price controls, and government regulations are price controls. The current U.S. political regimes have drowned themselves in price controls, creating a scenario in which the Federal Reserve has to pick its poison. Because austerity measures are not even a consideration in U.S. politics today, accelerated inflation is inevitable. Although this may not seem like a big deal, because the U.S. has the world's reserve currency, this will cause major domestic price inflation. Unlike a capitalistic private money system, which we're observing in the cryptocurrency markets, fiat money revolves around legal tender laws and price controls. These price controls, in some instances, make deflationary prices illegal. In the United States, it is illegal to pay U.S. citizens a wage less than $7.25 per hour. A wage is a price that is governed by income tax laws, and income taxes are taxed at very high, graduating tax rates. This federal wage price control is part of the fiscal policy of the U.S. federal government and is inherently inflationary for all consumer prices. When you start to multiply all the different price controls in the U.S. economy, you'll start to better comprehend the dilemma the U.S. Federal Reserve finds itself in. On this channel, we discuss price controls in all their forms. Our goal is to get you thinking more clearly so people in authoritative positions can no longer manipulate or steal from you without you knowing about it. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment,